Hey everyone, welcome back for another episode of Real Talk. So everyone, my name is Adrian. I'm joined by my co-host Daniel here and Rob, who is far away from us, and we're gonna have a lot to talk about. There's a lot that happened this week, and so we're gonna kind of jump right into it. We are going to talk about Disney giving Gina Carano, Marshall June in the Mandalorian series, the axe, over some controversial tweets, and we want to talk about that right now because it is a very hot topic and a big issue, trending over Twitter and all of social media. So, Rob, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on the whole
Hey,
situation?
you got to throw it
And
right to me, huh? Right, throw it right to me.
hey, you know what? You're the most important man in the room, so let's start with you.
Well, I'm the only person in this room at this point, but okay. So let's just this is a hot button issue, and I'm gonna do my best not to offend anyone, and but at the same time to be truthful and honest to how I feel. First and foremost, let me start off by saying I don't agree with her using anything having to do with the Holocaust or Nazi Germany and the Jews, anything. Not just her, not just her, but like overall, like that's you to use
Yeah.
that is just bad form, and it's not going to end well because that was such a horrific time in the world. Not even just as a nation for America or whatever the case may be, for the world. That was just it was a dark spot,
Yeah.
and it's not something that should be taken lightly or talked about lightly. Now, in saying that, it may sound weird to say, but I understand. Um, I guess I would say I kind of understand the point she was trying to make. Though I feel like she did it in a very, she was trying to make her point in a bad way. I
Yeah.
understood where she was coming from as far as trying the point she was trying to make, and I feel like almost and there's like a whole thing with her and Disney as far as Disney, her putting out some comments and making some jokes that were not jokes that turned into jokes, and just as far as the I think the trans community, back in November, and Disney just kind of having a
Yeah.
few talks with her, and bringing her people in, and let's talk about this, and so now today we found out for the it wasn't even a comment that she made, it was something that she shared, and let me say this too. Again, I'm not condoning her using that, but I'm just saying she never once mentioned, as far as like the Holocaust, or that they're politically, like someone's taking a
Yeah.
side and pulling people out and doing anything that happened. She was just, I feel like, in my opinion, she was trying to express a way to, I guess, get us to unite. And it was just some people. Now that I told you before, I kind of taken all day and listened to people talk and read articles and just
Yeah.
different YouTubers and different political people and their opinions about this. And there are people who are the Jewish community who felt offended by it, and I can understand that. And there were people from the Jewish community who didn't feel offended by it and understood where she was coming from and the point she was trying to make. So, and I can understand that, and I can respect both points. Um, as far as Disney firing her, um, that's people like to throw out the freedom of speech. We in America, we have
Yeah.
freedom of speech, and that is true. But at the same time, our speech, though we a certain speech, we're not allowed to have hate speech, and I don't think she was doing that. But with freedom of speech comes the responsibility of the words that we speak. And with Disney firing her, I don't agree that they should have fired her, even though I think that they've talked to her a few times from what I've read. um I don't think for what specifically this post was, it was a fireable offense. But if you take it all together from Disney's perspective and being like, oh well, she's causing us issues, I could see why they would let her go. But now I don't know if we're going to get to this a little later, but I will also say um, Disney has, I guess, a reputation of having double standards, which I'm not
Yeah.
okay with. So I don't know, Adrian, Danny, if you want to go from there, I don't know, if you want to just take it from there.
Daniel, I'll let you go ahead and jump in before I give my thoughts.
I'm sort of in the same line as you, like, love thinking. I agree. Like, first and foremost, even before this, I always had an issue when people compare the Nazis and Jews and everything that they went through. I always took issue to that because, like, nothing really compares to what they went through,
Yeah.
or like the how the Nazis were and stuff like that, like how they treated people. Because I know in social media a lot of times people just throw out the word Nazi. You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi, and it kind of it's like,
Nazi or comparing people to Hitler,
yeah,
and
and
it's
it's
just a little
like
absurd.
you can't compare that, like, because it almost like demonizes. I guess that's the word. I don't know. Whatever. Like
I feel
what?
like for me, I feel like it. Sorry to interrupt. But
Well,
I feel like
it
it.
desensitizes, and it also,
Yes, yes.
it trivializes the whole thing.
Exactly. That's exactly what I meant. Like the whole thing that happened. Back in
Yeah, it's because it's like unless your family, all your people are kind of being rounded up, thrown in cages, and gassed and murdered by the millions. I mean, there's no comparison to what you are experiencing. It doesn't matter if you're on the right or the left. To make that comparison is complete ignorance and it's complete idiocracy, and I think that's just dumb.
That's what I'm saying. Like both sides. Both sides. I feel like are wrong when people say like, "Oh, you're a Nazi," and I feel like, "Oh, we're Jews," and stuff like that, because that's nothing compares to that. In saying all that, I I get what she was trying to say, like, but like the comparison just wasn't a good
Yeah, it
comparison,
was a
and
bad
she shouldn't.
comparison.
Yeah, she shouldn't have said that, and I was just like, ugh, like, like, why would you say that?
Cringeworthy.
Like I said, like like it gets under my skin when people talk about stuff like that or compare. Um, and as far as like Disney firing her, I do not agree with that. I don't think that should have happened because like people make mistakes and we learn from them, but like I don't think it's something that she should have been fired from. Um, and like you said, I feel like there's a double standard. That honestly that bothered me most out of everything because they're like how there has been certain employees in Lucasfilm and stuff that have said hatred, a lot of hateful things towards white people and stuff like that. And to me, that's like, like that's you shouldn't be saying that. That's still, regardless, even if it's white people, it's still wrong. Um, and then I'll even point out Pedro Pascal, how he even sort of mentioned like I forgot it was like
It was a post. You're talking about the
Okay, yeah, I
picture,
know what
right?
you're
You're
talking
talking about
about.
the
He
picture,
posted.
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
He
yeah.
posted. Yeah.
He was basically comparing Trump supporters to Nazis, and to me, that's sort of in the same line, same lane of what uh, Gina Carano did and stuff like that. Like and nothing happened to him. There was no repercussions or anything like that. It's like, dude, you can't say stuff like that. And like I said, like I didn't think he should have been fired for that. And same thing, I don't think Gina Carano should be fired for this. Um, but yeah, I feel like
It's just there's a double standard.
yeah,
There's
like I
just,
said, that's what really bothered me. This whole thing.
yeah.
Well,
There's this double
I mean,
standard in Disney, and I feel like it's even before all this, like
oh
all
yeah,
like
yeah.
Pedro Pascal. It's always been there. I feel like,
Well,
um,
even
Disney. I mean, if you look at just little thing, I mean, I think Disney just picks and chooses. Okay, is this worth
well,
changing? Is this going to cause? Is this going to give us a negative feedback? Will people even notice certain things? I mean, look at stuff like that happen. The things with Aladdin, as far as them using extras and doing certain things to extras for as far as skin tone, and look at the stuff with Mulan and them thinking a certain area in China where there was some shady stuff going on. So Disney, I mean, Disney isn't don't have a clean slate here, and they
yeah,
they have a bad
yeah,
reputation.
and I think that's the biggest issue, the heart of the issue. Kind of you kind of touched on it, Rob. Is they're more concerned about what affects their bottom line.
Right.
So after her last tweet, you know, that was kind of like, that was the final straw. That was kind of like, all right, there's too much of an outcry here. We can't avoid this anymore. We're going to have to do something about it, because otherwise there's going to be a boycott. There's going to be a bunch of negative publicity, and we're going to have to, basically sever ties with her if we want to come out looking clean. Same thing with the whole, like, like what you're saying, the Chinese thing with Mulan. It's like there's a lot of money in China. Their whole thing again is like, what's affecting our bottom dollar here. It's not, because if they really felt serious about the things that she was tweeting and saying, all the anti-mask stuff, the pro-Trump stuff, the transphobic stuff or whatever, they would have fired her a long time ago. But it finally kind of snowballed into a point where they couldn't avoid it anymore. And again, I feel like you guys, where it's kind of like, okay, she has a right to say whatever her opinion was, however dumb they may sound and however ignorant she may be. Like, and that's kind of how I feel about it. I get what she's trying to say, because she's kind of feeling like a martyr at this point. Like, she seems to be more on the conservative side. So she's feeling like, hey, this is what is going on. Let me, make this comparison. Totally stupid. But at the same time, is it really, am I going to fire her for this? And I don't really think it's worth that. And like what Daniel's saying, there's other people like Pedro Pascal who are saying stuff that's like, hey, well, this is like Nazi Germany. Trump is Hitler. Like, no, they're not nearly the same thing, But again, it's kind of like what's affecting our bottom dollar,
Right,
and I
right.
think that's what they did, and I think that's the biggest problem for me. But all that being said, having read into it a little bit, from what I understand is, and you kind of mentioned it, Rob, is Disney and Lucasfilm or whatever, they talked to her and her people, and they said, hey, cool it with these tweets, because this is making you look bad, it's making us look bad, and we can't continue like this. And she was like, yeah, sure, but then kept going with it. So it's kind of like at any job, your boss
Right,
tells you,
right.
you got to fix this, you got to stop that, you got to do this. You're an at-will employee, and you don't, and then finally they give you the axe. And it's like, even for something dumb, it's like, oh, I was only late 5 minutes, but hey, that was the final straw. We're gonna
Right.
let you go. It seems kind of inevitable at that point where she was going to lose her job because she kept going.
Yeah, she kept pushing the boundaries, and I don't know if she was doing it purposefully or if
I
she was just speaking her mind and that's how
You
she
know what?
felt.
I think so, because if you look back at some of her earlier tweets, especially with the trans one, where some of the Star Wars actors, they kind of changed their pronouns and added them to their handle,
Right.
and they were kind of prodding at her and telling her, hey, you need to do this, and like she just was like, nah, I'm not into that. It's not my thing. I don't want to do that. Whatever. And they just kept hounding her almost basically, and then she finally just kind of tweeted that thing like beep bop boop, or I think that's what
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
in her Twitter handle, like, here, that's my pronoun, like whatever. And people took offense to that, like as if she was like really attacking trans people. And again, like, and then it kind of snowballed from there. So then from that point, people just kept attacking her, prodding at her, like, hey, you're this, you're that. And then she just kind of kept going with it. And I think her not being smart enough to realize, like, you know what, Twitter can be a loaded gun.
Right.
Everything is written in ink, not in pencil. And once it's out there, it's out there. And again, people, as a public figure, hold you to a higher standard than they hold themselves to.
Right, right.
And and again, that's my biggest problem, really, is with kind of social media and this kind of like instant sort of generation that we live in, where it's kind of like they want instant satisfaction, instant execution, instant, like, there is no due process. You say something dumb, we want your job, we want this, we want that.
Right.
And there isn't like a conversation. No, it's just, that was offensive, we need to get rid of you right now, we need to fire you and make sure that you never work ever again. And that's the biggest problem, I think, is again, we hold these public figures to such a high standard that like they can't even make a mistake once, and if anybody doesn't like you, they'll go back 10 years and find something, dig it up, and then throw it in your face and say, we're going to, it's just dumb. I
Yeah.
think it's just dumb.
Yeah.
Like, overall, I think the whole situation is dumb. I think she's dumb. I think Disney's dumb. And it's
Yeah.
kind of like, there are no winners in here. To me, there are no winners in the situation.
Yeah,
You know?
I agree. It's just it's a sad, I guess, disappointing thing because um I know a lot of people are going to say that she wasn't the greatest actress or whatever the case may be, but I felt just her being a strong woman who it was in this kind of just the role she was in. It was it's kind of upfront, and they were talking about doing other stuff with her as far in the Star Wars universe, and I enjoyed her character as Cara Dune, and I it just again I'm gonna echo
Well,
what you just said.
like,
It's
you're
dumb on
talking.
both sides. Dumb on
Yeah,
both
well, you're
sides.
talking about strong women and stuff like that. I was talking with my wife about the whole situation, and she it feels the same. Like, she kind of agrees what she said, and everything that she did was stupid and dumb. But for her, she was disappointed because having, like, what you're saying, like, the strong woman actress, like, being a hero, a part of, like, one of the heroes of this story, and kind of holding her own with all these other actors and characters, and also not only being a strong woman, but being one, as she says, a little bit thicker.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, for
And
sure,
it's like,
for sure,
because
yeah.
mostly, like, when we see them, that they're like, like this, like a stick figure, and
Right.
like, have like this perfect body shape, but she didn't fully have that. Like, you could tell she was a little bit muscular.
She looked like a
and she
real
was,
person, like a real woman.
yeah, and so for her, it was kind of like, it sucks that you lose that character that
Yeah.
that she can finally see herself in, and that's the thing that kind of sucks about this. Now, I don't know, are they gonna recast her, or are they just gonna like kill the character off somehow? Who knows? I don't. But
This is just my hopes because I'm hoping in similar, not so much a similar situation, but just the way Disney fired James Gunn and brought him back. I'm hoping maybe both sides can come to the table again and both kind of admit, I don't think Disney ever going to admit they're wrong in anything, but just maybe come to some kind of compromise where we can bring Gina Carano back. I'm not saying it's going to happen anytime soon, but maybe
I think
somewhere
that's
down
the
the
thing, is
line.
it's
So,
still too, like, recent. It
oh
might
yeah,
take like
yeah,
a couple of years down the line before
right,
they or anyone else will even decide to work with her again.
yeah.
They're gonna wait to see if she basically changes. I think that's what's gonna happen. Is she gonna just
Well, for
just not say anything and just stay silent?
for Disney maybe, but I mean, I think there are conservative places that will bring her on as far as like, hey, like, we'll let you speak your mind, we'll let you, if that's how you think, we'll bring you on over here. I mean,
I think so,
few
but
and far
at the same
between,
time,
but I don't
that's,
think,
yeah,
yeah,
like what you said. It's not There's not much out
yeah,
there.
yeah,
So it's kind of like, I think the smartest thing for her is just to get off all social media and then just stay off. Like, and the Star Wars fan base can be a little volatile in that
yes,
whole
yes,
social media sphere,
yes,
because
we
they
can.
chase people like Daisy Ridley and Kelly Marie Tran, off of social media, because they're constantly attacking them for stupid reasons that they're just actors paid to play a part.
Yeah.
They have nothing to do with how the story goes and how it's written, but yet people find the need to attack them for whatever reason. So I think the smartest thing for Gina Carano is just, you know what, stop trying to troll, just shut up and just maybe get off, I think so. But anyways, guys, what are your thoughts on the whole situation? Do you think that she deserved to be fired, or do you feel like it wasn't that bad? Let's have a conversation, be friendly in those comment sections, but also yeah, let's just have a dialogue about how we feel about it. Comment down below and let us know, and we'll respond and interact with you guys. Now, another Mandalorian star who had a better day than Gina Carano. It was announced that he was cast, Pedro Pascal, who plays Mando, was cast as Joel in the HBO series The Last of Us, and that's based off of the hit PlayStation video game. And what are your guys' thoughts? Daniel, let's jump in, because I know you played both games. I haven't really played them. I've seen like a lot of the cutscenes and whatnot, but what are your thoughts of him being cast as Joel?
I think it's an okay pick. I like, obviously I like Pedro Pascal and the Mandalorian. And to be honest, that's the only thing I've seen him in. So I mean, like, I know he was on Game of Thrones, right? Or,
Yes, he
Yes,
was.
he
Yeah,
was the Viper.
Say her name.
The
Yes.
Viper.
So
Yes.
I never seen Game of Thrones. I know, shocker, but he wouldn't have been my first choice. But like I'm okay with it. I think he'll do a good job because the character Joel itself, he's very what do you say? Like he's very
Stoic.
like
He's
He's
brood.
just kind of grizzled and more
yeah, he's
like-
brooding.
because he's been through a lot, so he's
Yeah.
almost like cold-hearted, like almost like
Yeah, very-
if you
like
play the
like
game,
a Batman almost.
yeah, exactly. You know, like so, and he comes off that way, Pedro Pascal. So like so I think he'll do fine. I'm definitely excited to see what they're gonna do with the show and stuff because I'm a huge fan of the first game. The second game, not so much. I to be honest, I actually didn't like it at all.
That's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, the story was really bad. But the first one I loved a lot, and it's one of my favorite games, if not my favorite game of all time. I played that game like countless of times, so I'm definitely excited to see what he's gonna bring to the table. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Rob, what do you think?
So here's the thing, guys, is I didn't play The Last of Us 2, but I did play The Last of Us. And Daniel, I'm going to echo what you're saying as far as it being, I don't know if I would say it's my favorite game because there was this other game that came out called, Batman, Arkham Knight and Arkham Asylum. But anyways, I really did enjoy The Last of Us game. And I think, with Pedro Pascal being cast as Joel, I think it's a good casting because you got a good actor, and I've seen Pedro Pascal in Game of Thrones, The Mandalorian, and in we don't want to mention Wonder Woman 2, but in all these roles he played someone different, but he did an excellent job. So there's no reason to doubt that he will do an excellent job in this. And I can't I don't remember her first name, but I know her last name's Ramsey. She played Lady Mormont on Game of Thrones, but I heard that she was going to be cast, that she also got cast as Ellie, or that she was just going to be in it along with Pedro Pascal. So she is I know you didn't bring this up, but she is an excellent actress as well, who I've only seen her in Game of Thrones, but there was a good amount of her in the seasons that she was in where I got a good feel of, as far as her that she's a good actress. So I'm excited for both of those castings. I think specifically Pedro Pascal is going to do an excellent job playing Joel and going to crush it. And I'm excited to see a series of Last of Us because it was such an awesome game. And I'm just hoping, and I think HBO will do it justice, that kind of translate that first game that I played onto screen. So yeah, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Adrian?
Like I said, I haven't played the game, but I've heard so many rave reviews about
Shame
the
on
first
you.
one, not the second. But like,
Turn off his mic right now.
hey, dude,
Mamito.
I don't have any game consoles. I have a 720p
That's not
Yeah.
true.
TV.
At the time, you had a PlayStation 3 when it was working. I kept telling you, dude. I was like, dude, you gotta play this game. You gotta play this game.
Yeah, but at the time,
And-
I stopped playing video games because I had just had my daughter, and so I was just like, literally.
He's using his kids as an excuse.
Yeah, but even I know, Adrian, when I don't have kids, but I know when you have a kid, they fit perfect right over your shoulder and just kind of like, see that right there?
Or just-
video game status.
Yeah, or just play at nighttime when they sleep.
Yeah, there
That's
you
what
go.
I did.
Um,
I played Red Dead Redemption 2, and that's a 40-hour game, and I had 2 kids at the time.
Man,
I actually played it.
gotta
at that time, wait, you don't have two kids?
I mean,
anymore?
because
I got
well,
rid of
when-
them.
Because they left him because he spent 40 hours playing a video game.
No, I meant like because the Last of Us. I didn't have any kids, but I'm saying when Red Dead Redemption 2
All right,
came
let's
out.
stop bashing me. Let me get my thoughts on this whole casting here.
Go ahead, Adrian.
I
What are
mean-
your thoughts?
I you know what, I like Pedro Pascal, but I you know what, it's gonna I'm gonna have to warm up to the idea of him playing him because I'm having a hard time seeing him as that character. Like just the look and the feel of him. Like
Yeah.
I know acting wise he can pull it off, but it's overall the look. Like just his you know, I don't know. Like that's the
I
only
hear
thing.
you. I mean,
You know,
just based off the video game, I would say, I mean, I would see more like it would never happen, but more like a Ben Affleck kind of
yeah. Or
actor,
someone that
Or
kind of
even
like
like
someone that's a little more brooding and has like that really grizzled look to them.
my first option or pick I always thought would do well was Hugh Jackman.
And I would
Something
say
like
that,
that,
but
you
then
know.
at the same time, I go that's a little bit on the nose, especially with Logan. He basically looked
Yeah.
like Joel in that film,
pretty
and
much was Joel.
And a lot of people actually, yeah, a lot of people actually make comparisons too,
Yeah.
because with him and Ellie, and then with
yeah,
Wolverine
and
and
X-23,
Yeah.
yeah,
you know, and so that's you know how I feel about it. It's just more about the look than anything, like you know, because I think for me, if the character doesn't quite look right, then you know it you know, it kind of affects the mood and the feel for me of the movie. So,
Okay.
you know, that's kind of how I feel about it. But you know, I'm hopeful, and I will see. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm not watching this because I don't like the way he looks or whatever. You know, it's more about like, can he pull it off? And I think maybe once we get like those first like photo tests, like those images that we see, if he looks right, then you know it'll really pique my interest a lot more. But I don't know, guys. Why don't you comment down below and let us know what you think of Pedro Pascal being cast as Joel in the Last of Us series, and we'll have that conversation with you guys. So, a game technically happened on Sunday. I mean, if you really want to call it a game. I mean, yeah, it was bad. But anyway,
A
there
football
was
was thrown on Sunday several times.
by
yes,
one team, you know.
by one team, and then the other guy was you know just running around getting hit. Um, anyway, there were commercials and some trailers, and so there was a few, and not quite as much as usual. And I think for obvious reasons, I think studios were kind of holding back because they're kind of like, we don't know if we're going to open again,
Yeah.
so let's maybe not spend so much money on movie trailers. So, but the ones that we did see, were there any that kind of piqued your guys' interest at all? Like, hey, that looks good, or made you more excited for that? You know?
I mean, nothing that I already wasn't, excited for. Like, I've already wanted to see, the Fast and the Furious movie. I already want to see, Godzilla and, the one I guess that I'd say that I didn't really pay attention to. I knew it was coming out, but just didn't know, when was the M Night Shyamalan movie.
Okay, old.
Yeah, so that one kind of put it. I mean, it reminded me that was coming out, but like I said, the like you said, for obvious reasons, we don't know when theaters are going to open up. And I checked to see how much a 30-second spot cost in the Super Bowl, and it was still like
Like
five.
couple million?
No, it was like $5.6 million
God.
for a 30-second spot. So
crazy.
I highly doubt.
In a game that like less people watched in like what was it, like 14, 15 years. It was like the lowest ratings, I think.
Yeah,
of all time.
so I don't think I don't think movie studios wanted to fork out that kind of cash when they don't know when theaters are going to open up again. So, but I mean, pretty much the same stuff that nothing at the Super Bowl with the except as far as commercials and trailers, with the exception of old, and that just kind of reminded me. I wasn't like super hyped. I mean, I want to see Kong and Godzilla smash the heck out of each other before I want to see old. But I feel like old, it's an M Night Shyamalan movie. There's always gonna be twists and turns, and it looks kind of weird. So, that kind of piqued my interest a little bit.
Yeah, Daniel.
I actually didn't watch the Super Bowl, so I didn't
Save
see
yourself 3 hours. Good job.
It. Yeah,
Yeah.
we went out and did stuff, so I didn't actually see it.
Good for
The
you.
only
Good for you.
yeah, the only trailer that I did see, like later on after that I know was released during the Super Bowl, was Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But even that trailer, I didn't get too excited about it. They didn't really show me anything that to get really excited about.
Yeah.
Then again, WandaVision, same thing. I when that trailer came out, I didn't really get too excited about it either. Like I didn't really see anything in that trailer that really got me excited. And look how WandaVision's turning out. So maybe it'll be good. I don't know, but like I said, that's the only trailer that I saw from the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I kind of watched a few, and I was kind of there was really nothing. Actually, there was a few that had the reverse effect on me. I'm like, that makes me not want to watch it. Like Fast 9, I was like, this is just stupid. I'm like,
Wasn't it supposed to go in space or something like that?
yeah, that's what I'm hearing. They're supposed to go into space with this one, and I'm like just thinking to myself, like, remember when you guys used to just be about cars and stealing car parts, and and Paul Walker was an undercover cop
and stealing VCRs.
But now we're over here just playing superheroes. I mean, with
Pretty much.
with vehicles, they should just join forces with the Autobots, and that'll make for a great action film.
There you go.
I'm still waiting for Transformers and GI Joe to like combine universes.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
I'm waiting for Beast Wars to come out.
Beast Wars to make a comeback. Yeah, no, but like Old was one that I hadn't seen anything on, and I think that they debuted with the Super Bowl.
Right.
And I'm a big Shyamalan fan, and I really enjoy like pretty much all of his films. And that one seemed interesting, seemed creepy enough.
Did you enjoy Lady in the Water?
No.
Okay.
Not all of his films. Okay. But at the same time, like, this one looks interesting. Got my interest going. All right. Can't wait to go see that one. Nobody, the Bob Odenkirk film, looks kind of funny and kind of action-packed. So I kind of want to see that one. And that's about it. But, like, the Falcon Winter Soldier one, like you guys said, I watched it and I just thought...
It was underwhelming.
Very underwhelming.
It was.
It seemed like they wanted to focus on the chemistry between Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it didn't really work for me. It just kind of was like, all right, like I guess. So we'll see. I mean, there's not much story that they showed. It was just kind of like clips of like action sequences, and so there's nothing really going on.
I think their chemistry could either. I mean, obviously, it's either gonna hit or miss, but those just with the trailer, those little like jokes, kind of those hey, what are you doing there, kind of those kind of jokes, like they could land, but they could also not land at all, and that could make
and jokes without context don't really work.
Yeah, that's how I felt with the trailer. There's like a lot of jokes in there that didn't land. It was almost like cringe almost.
Yeah, because it's kind of just like, we're just take a quick clip of a scene where they probably built that whole scene up for that joke, and we're just going to show the punchline.
Yeah,
and
it's like oh, and then, but like I said before, like I wasn't too hyped for WandaVision, so hopefully it might turn out.
WandaVision. Adrian, you better not text me any spoilers tonight, Adrian. I'll punch you.
I'm not, but if you want to avoid it, you can stay up till midnight and watch it, because that's what I do.
I'll watch it at 4 a.m. when I go to the gym. Thank you very much.
I was about to say, do you watch them at midnight, or you wait? Like
No. I save them Friday when I go to the gym in the morning. I'm usually at the gym by like 5 o'clock, so I'll watch it there.
I watch them at midnight, so when they drop, I got my late night snack and sit in front of my TV and watch it. And
on his 720p TV.
Oh, Adrian.
Well, I might get a new TV soon, so I mean, I'll give you my old TV. It's kind of old, and it's right there. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, what did you think of all these Super Bowl trailers? Did any of them pique your interest? Yes or no? Why don't you comment down below and let us know? And also, I don't know. Was there any more show to talk about?
Well,
did
Jared Leto.
Yeah, Jared Leto.
Jared Leto, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, hey, we got an image of Zack Snyder's cut for Justice League, and there's a new image of Jared Leto sitting in prison as Joker, and
I don't know if you guys saw like the new trailer. I guess they're gonna drop a trailer on the 14th. I don't know if you guys heard about that.
I did.
Yeah, I heard that
did
there was
hear
going to
about
be a new
that.
trailer, but I didn't see the date for the new trailer.
Yeah, it's February 14th, Valentine's Day.
Valentine's
We'll
Day.
do a reaction, Rob.
We should.
I don't do anything on Valentine's Day. Do you?
Well, I have a date on Valentine's Day with my wife, so
It's like, man, you just put him on the spot.
I
right
know,
there.
man. Adrian, jeez, I don't do anything with my wife. I'll be home doing nothing. What are you gonna do, Rob? Well, let's talk about Leto and those new images of him as the Joker, man.
I see you sweating. Like,
Oh,
Rob
man.
has nothing planned,
He-
guys.
he
Rob
forgot-
has
he-
nothing planned. He's
Yeah, he
like,
forgot it was this Sunday. He's like, wait, it's coming.
I know. I'll be right back, guys.
Jared Leto, he looks different. Obviously, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Jared Leto or his Joker, pretty much at all. So I can't say that it excites me one bit. Like I'm like, okay, cool, looks different, but that's about it. So maybe my opinion will change when I see the trailer.
I'm sort of indifferent with Joker, Jared Leto's Joker. It wasn't bad. It was just different. So I'm pretty excited to see what he can do with this. I just feel like because he didn't have anything to really work with, and
Okay, but my rebuttal to that is when you're a great actor, you know, and you can really bring it and make something happen, you can do it in that first scene. I mean, we saw it again with like Heath Ledger. It's the opening scene, right? He didn't really have much to say. He just shows his face and says whatever doesn't kill you makes you stranger, and right there you're hooked and you're in, and that performance really draws you in. But here it was just kind of like what you said. It's really weird, very like kind of like, what am I even watching right now? What's with all the stupid tattoos, all that? It's just, so for me it just doesn't work.
what I mean by like indifferent is just like because his acting was good. Like I mean, like it was just like the character itself.
Jared Leto is a weirdo, so that's
Yeah.
why his acting is good, because he's
Maybe
good
he was
at
being himself. I don't know. But, so yeah, so like I stick to my guns, and I said like he didn't have anything to work with. I know you're saying, oh, whatever. If he would have said this and that, whatever, it would have hooked you in. But anyways, as far as the picture, I mean, we only got one little snippet of the picture. I mean, it looks good, and like I said, I'm interested to see his take on the Joker and this Justice League thing.
Rob.
So, guys, I don't know what indifferent means, but I'm gonna say I'm indifferent. And so one thing I did notice, I looked at this picture really closely, and I inspected it. I zoomed in on some images, and I don't think we're getting Jared Leto's Joker. Obviously, he's gonna act and be the Joker, but I think we're getting Snyder's Joker. And I noticed that he didn't have the tattoos.
Yeah, you know what? That was one thing I did notice. He didn't have like the damage tattoo.
Yeah.
and
So
all this other
maybe,
stupid stuff.
yeah, maybe Snyder, switched it up. Maybe he gave him a different direction to go in and said, hey, we did this and let's try this. Because honestly, like, I think that I think Jared Leto doesn't. You can say he's a weird dude, crazy guy, whatever the case may be. I don't think he wants to be known as the guy who was the bad Joker. I feel like this might be a chance for him to, redeem himself as the Joker. And, maybe, like I said, maybe Snyder was like, hey, we've seen how this Joker plays out, and let's try and go down a different road, which is kind of what made me think when I see the missing tattoos and stuff, that, okay, maybe they're going, maybe a more, not so much of the only thing I could think of with the Joker, like that was in like Suicide Squad, is like like a rockabilly, kind of Joker. And maybe they were just like, hey, that we seen how that went, that didn't work, let's go. The image, just based on the one image we've seen, it looks dark, and I like it, and being that it is black and white, you don't really get the color of the
Yeah, of course it's
Joker.
gonna be dark. Yeah.
Right.
I was like, well,
So
it is black
yeah,
and white,
it's
so
black and
it's
white.
dark.
So,
So
but just as not even just like the coloring, like just as far as, and Daniel, you would probably know more about this just because you are an amazing photographer. Um, just the imagery of it, it reminds me. I don't know if you guys seen the Billie Eilish, her, like one of her album covers. Um,
No.
it looks well, this album cover is very dark, and
Okay.
it looks, regardless of the color of the picture, you can sense like just a darkness
Just dark
upon the picture.
lighting.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not even saying
yeah,
like about the lighting, it's just like the
this is a
way.
composition.
Yes, there
Yeah,
you go.
so
There you go, Daniel. Like I said, you're the
yeah.
professional, so you know. I just have lights and stuff. But yeah, so I'm excited to kind of see.
Adrian's waiting for his compliment. So.
Adrian, you go play The Last of Us. Um, so yeah, so I'm interested to see if just based off this picture, if they kind of revamp the Joker and make him not so like, I'm crazy, and more
Yeah.
and more just a demented person who's not like, oh, I'm doing, let me send this, let me do this. So I don't know, that's just, again,
Is he
oh,
like a
this one.
1920s villain? Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
the Joker, see?
listen here, see, I'm gonna place $20 on the ponies, see.
See, we're gonna rob this joint, see?
Um,
Where's Harley Quinn at, see.
So, how'd you feel about his Suicide Squad performance? I guess you'd say.
You know what, it wasn't, I guess not so, I'm not trying to take the easy way out, but it wasn't like my favorite performance of a Joker. I think I feel like they were like,
It's the
hey,
only way out, Rob.
no. I feel like they were like, hey, Jared Leto, like, you're a great actor. You got an award. Like, do what you want with this character. And
Yeah.
I think he tried to be too different from everyone else. And it just kind of ruined the Joker, at least for me. Like, I don't think it was like ridiculously like unwatchable, his scenes, but I think some of the stuff was over the top, even for the Joker. I feel like it could have just been, if maybe someone reined him in a little bit and been like, hey, we want that fire and that enthusiasm, but we're gonna aim you this way. I think it could have been better. So that's what I'm hoping happens with
Yeah, it
Snyder.
was kind of weird. There was no contrast with his character. He was kind of like here the whole time. There's no like on the important scenes that he had. There's no like down here, and then so when you get to those scenes, yeah, he can rev it up all the way here so that you can really get a feel for his
Here's
intensity. And he was
here's
just
here's the thing is, so I just watched the other day on HBO Max. I think it's like four films together, but it's in the DC animated kind of realm, and it was, you guys would know that it was a story of the death in the family.
okay. Yeah.
Have you guys watched it or no?
I haven't watched it.
Oh,
I saw that it came out. I
okay,
haven't watched
okay,
it. Is it on HBO Max?
it is on HBO Max. So
All right.
so we get
Gonna watch it.
we get the scenes with Joker and Jason Todd, and I was just like, man, this just, because Joker isn't all the way up here all the time. Like, he brings it
Yeah.
down, and he sometimes he has a calmness about him. Amongst the chaos, there's like a calmness, which is also scary about the guy.
Yeah.
So I would like
And
to see something like that.
That's what I was saying. There's like there's no contrast of emotions
Right.
for his character. So like what you're saying, there's moments of like when it's like that quiet like calmness, but it's like kind of crazy calmness, and that like out of nowhere he snaps and goes up here.
Right.
Like it creates and adds for that uneasy, tension and like terrifying moments. And we didn't get that because again, he's here the whole time
Right.
because he just wanted to be this crazy weirdo that like it just doesn't work, and so that's the biggest problem about his Joker to me. Like that's the biggest problem.
I
I
agree.
mean, you had Jack Nicholson's Joker, who was an agent or not an agent, but he's like basically like a gangster,
Yeah.
kind of like that, but it works in that realm. Heath Ledger's Joker, which is an agent of chaos, and even Mark Hamill's voicing of the Joker in the Batman animated series, who basically is kind of like that, who's pretty much the quintessential clown prince of crime. The way he's
Right.
just very whimsical, mad killer, that you get that feeling from on Mark Hamill's Joker. But here it was just like, I'm a weirdo.
Well, let's
And
not. Let's also not forget Cesar Romero's Joker, who is more. I feel
yes,
like more of like the funny
well,
kind of
he's
Joker.
he's he's the classic iteration
Yes.
of the Joker. Like if you've read any of the not the like first edition like Jokers when he first appears, but like some of the ones that came after, like in the 60s, like in that time frame where it was a little bit more campy, like just before the
Right. Yeah.
60s, like 50s, like 50s 60s, like it's just he's extremely like campy and like kind of goofy and like what's the word I'm looking for, comedy of errors.
Hmm.
So that's kind of like the way the character was in that time. So that's what Cesar Romero does. And so like, so for each, the way they're built, it's like they all work, but Leto's character just didn't seem to work. And so I think that's, the biggest problem that I have with it.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, what do you think of Jared Leto's Joker? Do you like him? Do you hate him? Comment down below and let us know. Also, you know what, guys? I think that's going to do it for our show. We
Yeah.
have kind of talked about quite a bit today. So why don't you let us know in the comment section what you thought about any of the topics that we covered? Is there something that we missed? Comment down below and let us know about that, which we missed. And, we'll try to cover it the next time. Also, don't forget to click like, subscribe, share with all of your friends, and follow us on Instagram at On the Fence Movie Reviews.
And remember, we'll catch you on the fence.